Okay, Anthony, this first bubble right here will go to you.
Okay. 将来漫画家になることを親に告げた僕は、主人と
This is a
二人で、
name.
OK。今は、亡亡きおじさんの仕事場へ向かった。So the me who inherited the me that like is a future mangaka that wants to be a future mangaka. Oh yeah, need to get that. That was
Do you know what
informed by
tsugeru
my
means?
dad.
Ah, that's
It's
a good guess.
conveyed.
So ni is a particle that marks the final state of the verb. So only if you're doing passive form or something like that would be ni being the doer of the verb. So tugeru is to tell. So we're telling at the location of oya rather than the oya telling me. So oya ni tsugeta boku is I who told my parents.
Uh the I who told my parents that I'm going to become a mangaka. Shujin 主人と二人で、that Shujin, the two of us, right now, we're heading towards the place that my Ojisan who was like passed away,
Yes,
the
the
workplace.
workroom of him. Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
perfect. このマンションか。9階. So it's in this apartment complex. Yeah, on the ninth floor. おじいちゃんが漫画家だった, sorry, おじいちゃんが漫画家だったおじさんの当時のままの仕事場を僕に譲ってくれたんだ. So my grandfather had given me the workroom just as it was left from how my uncle had who was a mangaka had his workroom as. So they didn't change anything. Gotcha. And they open the light, and this bubble right here will be for you, Anthony.
なんだこれ。なんだよ。なんだよ、これ。ヒーローのフィギュア。Baka. So what is all of this? There's nothing but like hero figurines.
Perfect. Nice. おじさん、ヒロ漫画ばっか描いてたから必要景品で描いたんだ. Well, my uncle, all he did was, draw hero manga. So because of that, this was a thing he basically needed to buy, like as like a reference kind of idea for his work. And the next three bubbles here will go to you, Anthony.
ギャグヒーロー漫画な。バカにしてる。尊敬してる。あギャグ。He's uh he's a gag manga gag hero. It's a gag hero manga.
In this
Then
context,
are
that's what he
you
was drawing, the uncle.
ah he was drawn to like gag hero manga. Are you making fun of him? No, I'm giving him respect.
はいはいはい。ぎゅうぎゅうに入ってるけど、一個を抜いて後ろを見てめ。Even though they're all jam-packed with each other, the figures, if you take down one figure, and why don't you try looking behind? You'll see something cool. Okay. Do-do-do-do. And, oh, why is this not letting me zoom in? Okay, so next will be these two bubbles for you, Anthony.
おー、ジャンプ。連載当時のジャンプは全部取ってあるみたい。wow, it's Shonen Jump. 連載当時. The serialization, I'm just guessing here. So, is Rensai Toji serialization?
Yeah, Nensai is the serialization to be serialized in something.
Ah, okay. The serialization of a jump. He, it looks like he bought all the serialization of the jump manga.
Yeah,
So
in
there's
at that time, those
at that time.
those days, Shonen Jump. 96年古でも後で読む Man, I think he's saying the year it was made, so like 1996. Man, that's old, but I'll go read it later. And the next bubble here will go to you, Anthony.
で、このドアの向こうがある意味本当の仕事場。Then, このドアの、on this door, if we go towards this door,
向こう door no
direction,
向こう means the other side of this door.
the other side, okay. ある意味本当の仕事場. There's a meaning, there's a true meaning, uh, the true meaning of the workplace.
Yeah, in English, you would probably state that as, I suppose you could say the real workplace is on the other side of this door, rather than this
Okay.
room is not really the workplace. It's just where he stores all his references for things. ひゅ、
Ah,
Wow, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I'll just read the series as well. 3 DK だったのを壁ぶち抜いて 1DK にしたらしい。Sorry, したらしい. I did it right. Anyway, this place he bought used to be a three bedroom kind of like office type idea, and he broke down one of the walls so that it was a one bedroom office instead. So this room right here was supposed to be multiple rooms, but it has less rooms now because he broke down the wall. This right here will go to you, Anthony.
懐かしい時にこのヤニの匂い、ここにどれだけ通い、どれだけおじさんと話したか。It's like, it's been a long time. Uh, especially the smell of like, I'm guessing this is cigarette.
Yep, Yani is a smell
Um,
of cigarettes. So if you're translating
okay.
tokuni especially, it's probably better to translate natsukashi as, oh, I miss this place. Or actually that's probably not the best word. I'm so nostalgic, especially that smell of tobacco really brings me back.
Okay.
Or maybe it's been a long time. The
ここ
smell of
にど
tobacco really brings me back. Yeah.
Okay,
Just ignore it.
I see. Okay, then ここにどれだけ通い、どれだけin here, how how much
Hmm.
how much I like go travel back and forth, どれだけおじいさん how much I I talk to my oji-san uncle.
Yeah, so you're right. Koyoi does have a reference of coming back and forth to a location. English doesn't have a word that really does that. You could use commute sometimes, but in this
Commute.
case, I
Okay.
would probably just say how many times I visited here. It's just the word itself is just referring to something you visited frequently is more like the word. So a same place you would koyoi,
Okay.
right, would be like school or your work or something like that. Versus like something you just visited once randomly, you can't use koyoi for. Like you couldn't use that for like the grocery store. It gives off a vibe of a routine visit rather than actually meeting. I went and then came back. It like doesn't actually it's not used in that way, right? That'd be like
Okay.
ittekuru or something. すげえ、コミックスのローだな。俺も持ってる方だと思ってたけど、100倍はある。So he says, wow, he has a large amount of comics. I also have some comics, but, I think this guy right here has like 100 times more comics than even I have. Next bubble here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
さっきのジャンプもそうだけど、さっきのジャンプもそうだけど、it, it's also the case for like the previous jump.
Yeah.
あ、漫画の一番の資料は漫画だって言ってた。映画下手なおじいさんだけかもしれないけど、漫画の一番の資料は、the number one resources for like manga is manga itself.
Mm-hmm.
映画下手なおじいさんだけかもしれない。I don't know if like my uncle is that bad at drawing.
What does kamoshirenai mean?
Probably. Probably.
Probably. So it's not I don't
Yeah.
know. So in here he
Uh,
says the Kamoshu deny is like less probably and more acting as a like even though it's almost acting more like a modifier for the kiddo here of the even though. I probably would just ignore it in the English translation. Even though my uncle, might just be not the best at doing art, he said the best reference for art for manga is manga. Um, So he's basically saying, it's kind of funny that he says manga's the best reference, but he can't even draw manga. なあ、生原稿とかあるんだろ見せてもらっていい Hey, isn't there like the manuscripts here or something like that? Would it be okay if I could see them? 確かに、クローゼットの中に。Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's inside of this closet. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oops. And this bubble right here will go to you, Anthony.
段ボールだらけ、綺麗に整理されてな。几帳面だったんだ。It's covered with like dartboard. The
Danboru
thing,
is cardboard. In this context, cardboard boxes. We'd
yes,
add the word box.
it's 綺麗に整理。So it's been arranged with like neatly
Yes.
with dartboard boxes.
Hi, hi. It's full cardboard box. It's been
几帳面
organized neatly. Yes, yes.
几帳面だったんだ。It was
Yes.
methodological.
Perfect. I think it's kind of funny that the boxes are not in order though. We got 3, 2, 5.
残
But the boxes themselves are nicely labeled. Tsuke pen, which is an ink pen. Pro は本当、ほとんどがこの G ペン俺は使いこなせ せなくてからpen. So pros, most of them use this G pen, but you see the uncle who's talking right now, I could not master the G pen, so instead I use um, a kabura pen. And next part right here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
ギャグ漫画だから、ギリギ
ギリギリ。
リ、ギリギリこれでもありだが、プロなら G ペンだ。たまに挑戦してみるが、これが難しい。ギャグ漫画だ。It's because he's a gag manga. ギリギリこれまでは。He uses this extensive. I'm gonna assume giri giri is like he's gonna use it extensively.
That's a good guess.
Uh,
It's not what he's talking about. So the previous line was pros normally use a G pen. I can't handle using a G pen. Instead, I use a kabara pen. So we're continuing that as our topic. So about these pens, I'm not using the pen of pros use. This is giri giri ari, which ari is basically is a way to say daijoubu in this context, saying it's just
uh,
barely okay because I am making a gag manga. That's why I am being allowed to use a Gabura pen instead of the other pen. Because,
uh,
why?
pro, pro not achievement. It's because uh, it's, if I were a pro, I'll use G pen.
Pros, if you're a pro, you gotta use G pen.
Yeah.
I would personally just use the generic. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be generic. He could be specifically talking when I'm a pro, but it doesn't make sense in the specific context.
Okay. たまに挑戦してみるか。これが、occasionally I'm going to like try and challenge myself, even if it's um hard.
So there's no even hard in there. It
Hard,
just says it is hard. So he
it is
says
hard.
the G pen, right? Because our new topic is if you're a pro, use a G pen. Every once in a while, right? I try to use it. I challenge myself. I'm going to use the G pen, but it's really hard. I can't use it. So I go back to the kata pen, is basically what he's saying here. Oops.
Uh,
本当に見ていいの? Is it really okay for me to look at it? 僕はまだ一度もつけペンで書いたことがない. I haven't a single moment in my life ever used a ink pen. And this panel right here will go to you, Anthony.
生原稿って初めて見た。生原稿。I haven't seen, this is my first time I've seen a nama genko. I'm assuming like a prototype
Yes.
image, storyboard. なんか下手って思ってたけど、こうして見ることなんの最高が書けるのか心配になってきた。This is somewhat like bad drawings. I I think that this is somewhat like a bad drawing, but こうして見る。I see it like seeing it like this. 最後が絵が描けるのかI became I'm gonna become a bit worried about like Psycho's drawing since seen his drawing.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying, but he's almost more talking about himself. So earlier in the story, I think in the previous chapter, Saiko told Takagi that he said, you're going to make the Nama Genko, basically. Specifically, you're going to be making the name. which is not a namagenko, it's even before the namagenko. And it's saying that Takagi has to draw it. So he's looking at these being like, oof, looking at this. I'm like, I'm gonna have to draw something like really like this, and then somehow you're supposed to make it look good. I'm getting worried. What if you draw it just like my stuff? Like, oh, I'm not a very good drawer. Like that's basically what he's saying here. And it
うん。
says, 俺もまだ全然自信ないよ。原稿もいいけど、囚人はまずこっち。And he says, I'm also, don't have the most confidence in myself for this project. Well, using that manuscript is fine. Before you really gotta reference those shujin, you gotta go look at these first. You gotta look at the names, which are the rough drafts. Doo-doo-doo. これが、これがネームか。漫画賞の傍聴ページとかで目にしたことがあるけど。So this is a name, huh? I guess I've seen this a couple of times in those like, congratulations, manga person who's won. There's like a little like page in there that kind of shows the thing. So it's not like it's the first time I've ever seen it, but 漫画の下書きみたいなもん. Sorry, so someone else started talking there. So Psycho says, you could kind of think about it as the rough draft for manga. And the next bubble here goes to you, Anthony.
まずこれを書いて、編集者に見せて OK が出たら、初めて原稿にできる OK が出るまでは何度でも書き直し。これを書いて。First, I'm going to write this. 編集者に見せて OK が出たら、then I'm going to like show it to like the editor.
Yes.
Or if he says okay, then I'm going to like release it. 初めて原稿にできる。Then I'll be able to like create my 原稿。OK が出るまでは until he says it's okay 何度でも I'm going to keep on fixing it.
Yes.
Fixing my drawing.
Redrawing it, basically. Yes. Perfect.
Redrawing.
That's exactly what it says. So yeah, no release word here. The deru is just the okay is being released, I suppose.
Okay.
最もネームで見せていいのは漫画家としての才能を認められたやつな。Well, in the first place, people who show their editors just a name, those are the ones who have been recognized as having talent in making manga. And next bubble here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
俺たちはちゃんと完成した原稿を編集部に送るか持ち込んで、まず認められるところから、俺たちはちゃんと完成した原稿。As for us, we should編集し
This ka, you should translate it as either.
either sending the properly finished Genko to the editor place
はい。
or
持ち込む。
is it to hold 持ち込んで
持つ is to hold. What does komu mean?
inside, like
Yeah, to
Inner
enter. So
enter.
mochikomu means to come in somewhere carrying something. So he's referring
Carry
to
in.
um the editor's office. So we're either going to send it to it or come in with it. And
あ
then what we'll
送
do?
るか。まず、認められるところから。First, I'm going to like seek for approval.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
That's all he's saying. We wanna bring in a so the previous sentence, right? He says if you've been fully accomplished, right, you can just come in with your name, your rough sketch, and the editor will start editing you over there. But us, we're newbies, so instead, what we got to do is make a fully finished product and get that acknowledged by the editor to be like, man, this is awesome. You guys should make manga before we could even get near the level of giving them a rough draft or something. Ah, それくらいわかって. He says, oh yeah, I understand that much. Oops. で、最高。俺にここまでやらせる気? He says, Psycho, you're really planning on having me do this name stuff? Like, 文章じゃダメってこと? Are you really don't want to get like, just like a script from me or something? You really want me to make the name? Next panel here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
当たり前だろう。っていうか、これがネームって言うだけで、これ真似してもダメだ。It's like saying, of course. っていうか is like, or would you rather? Or rather?
Yeah, or I would probably translate another, or to be more specific or something like that. It's
あ
it's it's basically saying the previous thing I said isn't exactly correct. I have something else that's more accurate to say next. Is what tiyuka is used. So or rather sometimes works. I don't know, but it's
okay.
just saying my previous thing is not the right thing. I have a better way of putting this.
あこれが眠って言うだけで、only これがね。This is only the name. これ真似してもダメだ。It's no good if we just like copy it.
Yes, that is what he's saying. So the dake does mean only, but the dake de is kind of making it act as like an even thing. So it says even though I've
Ah,
said that this is a name, you can't imitate this name specifically. And the reason
okay.
for that is that Oji-san wa gag manga だから、コマが小さい1ページ10コマなんてありえない。それに単純すぎる。So, because the reason why he can't imitate it totally is that his uncle, he made a gag manga. So because of that, it has a lot of small panels. With one page having like 10 panels, it's total like having up to like 10 panels on one page. And the panel layout is way too simple. Next bubble here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
自分の話に合ったネームを書書くんだ。文章だけで原作ですって言うなら小説家になるか他のやつと組んでくれ。自分の話にあった。話、your own words あったネームを書くんだ。Uh, writing your writing the name in your own words.
Yeah. Create your own manuscript.
Okay. 文章だけで even if like it's a chapter 原
Mm,
作
mm. I would, I
で
would, I would start with nada maybe.
okay. If it's the case of like 原作です。文章だけで原作ですって言うなら if you say that it's like, if it's the case that you're saying that it's uh
This is the
the
normal
original
dakede.
work,
Yeah. If it's the case you're saying original work made with just what?
with just chapters,
Yeah, made with just writing, so no
writings.
drawing.
Oh,
If that is the
writing.
case, then you should shousetsuka ni naru.
Uh you should just become a light
Just
novelist,
a novelist, yes. Ka, what does ka mean?
or
Or you should
our Hokano Yatsu to Kunda, or you should group up with those people.
somebody else, hokano.
Somebody else. Okay.
Because he says, I don't want to hang out with you if you're not making me the name. Find someone else. I'm drawing my line in the dirt. 言ってたよな。俺が納得できるネームかけなきゃ組まない。I already said this, you know. I'm not gonna team up with you unless you can make a name that I think is awesome. もちろん絵にするとき、構図は俺が考えるし、小回りもそうと直す。Of course, when I am drawing this, I will be looking at the structure of how you made this rough draft, and I'll be thinking about it myself, and also I might change how the panels are divided on the page. And then I will 書こうと思える元、sorry, 書こうと思える元だよ元。So he says this is the original work that is totally made before I even start really thinking about how to write it. It's like he's going to be thinking how I will be writing this. This is the he's basically saying this name he's making is a super rough name that he shouldn't be thinking about it too much because I am also going to edit it once I get it. That this is the original of the original type of idea of rough draftness. Psycho, やっぱりこいつすげえ. Man, Psycho, you really are an awesome dude. And the panel up here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
わかった。やるやってやる。なんか俺燃えてきた。Um, I understand. Let's do it. Let's really do it. なんか俺燃えてきた。I'm somehow starting to burn up.
Yep,
Like I'm
I'm
getting
fired up.
excited.
最
Yeah.
高、どんな漫画描きたい？そんなことを急に聞かれても。Hey, Psycho, what kind of manga do you want to draw? Well, when you just ask me that out of nowhere, I don't really know. How should I answer that? And the next panel here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
ただ俺は男っぽい漫画が好き。オタク系とか、なよしたのは嫌だ。そう、ただ俺は。Simply, as for me, I simply want just a manga that is like boyish for boys. Wait, no, no. ただ、
You're right. Tada. I just like manga that's for boys. I like
yeah,
boyish
I
manga.
just like, yeah.
Manly
あ
manga.
オタク系と、um, とか、なよなよしたのは嫌だ。What's なよなよ? Is it
Nayo nayo
friendship?
means like delicate. I'm not sure
Ah,
exactly what it means in this context for like manga, what it would be a nayo nayo manga. I don't know, like shoujo maybe. What do they mean by
okay.
delicate? But otaku-kei should be pretty easy to guess.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't like otaku type or nayo nayo type manga.
Hmm.
I hate them.
Yeah, and otaku-kei would mean like manga that's geared probably toward otaku. So this was more like the moe type of stuff, like
Ah,
having a girl in a maid uniform type of thing.
I see,
So
see.
he says he doesn't really like that. He doesn't really like gentle men. He wants manly men. He wants Top
Ah,
Gun. He wants Naruto. I don't know. um,俺だってそういうやりたくない。セッ
Metropolis.
クス、レイプ、妊娠、中絶。あれは最低だよな。So he says, yeah, I also like that kind of, I also don't want to do those things like that. I, for example, don't want to do sex stuff. I don't want to have rape. I don't want to have pregnancy. And I don't want, chuzetsu, which I feel like is discontinuation. What is the meaning in this context? Chuzetsu. Oh, abortion.
Oh,
Don't want abortion. That would be the absolute least favorite thing I'd want in a manga. And the next bubble, we'll go to you, Anthony.
それは少女漫画とかくだらない恋愛小説だろ。Those are 恋愛 also those shoujo manga and those absurd romantic novels, light novels,
Uh,
right?
yeah. Why is there a sorewa in this context? Do you know?
As for that,
Yeah,
sorry
as
was
in
oh wait,
as for
oh yeah,
no, as for materials that have pregnancy, sex, rape, and abortions, those things wouldn't they be found in romance, not like stupid romance novels and shoujo manga?
oh
I
yeah, okay,
obviously we're going to jump. We're doing some manly manga.
あ
それにそれを言うなら、不治の病も入れよ、入れろよ。
入れろ。
泣きのナンバーワンアイテムじゃん。あ、そっか、終わり。So speaking of that, something that it put into our list of things we don't want for our manga. It's the ireru. Ireru. I don't want somebody having a illness that they're gonna die from, and even though that's the number one thing that would make somebody cry. So number one, no uh, dying from illnesses. Ah. Next panel right here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
男っぽい漫画家、具体的にはどんなの一番好きな漫画って何？明日のジョー。ああ、男っぽい漫画か。ああ、a manly manga, huh? 具体的。Well, what kind of like, what I thinking? What's your basis for that? What are you like thinking about? I think. 一番好きな漫画. What's your favorite, number one manga? 明日の Joy is Joy of Tomorrow. Or,
Hi.
yeah, it's a manga.
Suru!
し
That is an
古い。
old manga. でも、すごい名作だ。But it's a really famous stuff. 俺もアニメの再放送から入って読んだだけど、本気でボクサーになろうと思ってた。You know, when I was watching the anime when it was being rebroadcasted on the TV, I also read the manga after that. I really made me think, man, I want to become a boxer. And next bubble right here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
ははは。やっぱり囚人バカだな。俺も目指したけど、so, as expected, Shujin is stupid. Even I also aim for that. However, I also am aiming for that thing.
Perfect. Yep. But I also did that. So basically, said I'm also kind of stupid. あれ、最後の言うところの天才二人による漫画だよな。So you're saying the manga that we gotta make is a manga that's like that, that only a genius could make, is what I think that's saying. 原作の方なんて、出刊で同時に5くらい連載持ってたらしい。And he says, yeah, when you're talking about the finished works, the ones that are being published weekly, you gotta have about 5 books. I have 5 of the books that as it was being Renside. So I think what this is saying is that he has the Joe manga, Ashita no Joe manga, and has the 5 volumes of like the original the serialization and Jump versions of it, rather than like the reprints, is what I think he's saying here. This right here goes to you, Anthony.
5本。すげえ。いくら自信か。いくら自信かの俺でも、それは絶対無理だ。5 volumes, 5 books, that's amazing. いくら自信がの俺の Even I, who is like, has a lot of faith in myself, それはI find that really impossible to
Yeah,
do.
that's correct. I definitely translated that wrong. Um, I don't know anything about Atashi no Joe. This might be saying that it sounds like when he was serializing, maybe he like somehow made 5 books. It just Hon is like a weird counter. 'Cause satsu is what's used when you're counting like volumes of like a series rather than Hon, which is more like for it's like a different kind of book counter.
Cylindrical.
It can be used for round things as well. It's because squirrels were round, so that also led it to be counted for books. But like normally, if you were saying like I have 3 volumes of Harry Potter, you use maku or satsu would be the actual counter for volumes and books, like more common than hon. Uh,
I see.
so I'm not my guess was that it was a counter for the serialized guys. They're a little bit different than the other kind of books. So it's not like a novel of just one book. Those Jump magazines, right? Because it's a magazine, not actually a novel, was my guess for that. So I'm not sure exactly what they're saying there. Just gonna skip it. We could read the English translation and be like, what does that say? 俺今自分が好きじゃない漫画でも小説でも今受けてるの片端から読んで研究してるんだけど so right now I am, researching and reading from the top to the bottom every single kind of manga I like, manga I don't like, novels, and things that are really popular. I'm reading all of these for research. だからさっき、セックス、レイプ、認知、中絶って言っちゃったのかな So because of that, that's why I added to the list no sex, no rape, no pregnancy, and no abortion. Because the books I was reading lately, even ones I don't like, was having those pop up. And the next panel right here goes to you, Anthony.
主人、やっぱり、お前ならできるかも。え、そうなんであ、as I expected, if it's you, Sujin, you probably would be able to do it.
はい。
Eh? Huh? Is that right? Why?
Perfect. まだおじいさんの話で悪いんだけど、じいさんは 塚賞に投稿したんだ。うん。忍耐書ってやつのガグの方だろ? So he says, this is something my uncle did again. So sorry I keep on bringing up stuff my uncle does. But my uncle, he had won the Akasho in the Wakasho competition. That's how he entered that. And he got to, it looks like the second place prize with his gag manga. 一番最初に何したかっていうと、格好の赤塚賞受賞作を集まるだけ集まって、どんな作品が評価されるか研究したんだって。So what my uncle did at the very beginning was decide what he was going to do by deciding to basically gather every single thing that had won in the past of this Akasho competition thing and figure out and evaluate what was the kind of works that would win in the magazine. The next button here, we'll go to you, Anthony.
で、その頃はギャグ漫画でも社会風刺が入ったものが評価されるって判断して、それに徹したらしい。で、その頃は、at that age or moment, ギャグ漫画でも社会風刺が、even a gag manga, society, or and 社会風刺 society. Well, what's that?
So
What's
shakai
fushi?
fushi is basically it's like when you're making fun of society is what it's saying there. Basically, it's irony. That it's just comedy, like political comedy, basically.
Okay. Comedy regarding society, 社会風刺が入ったものが評価されるって popularity. If you like put in those things, 評価されるって判断です。You're gonna get judged when it becomes like if it becomes pop. Wait.
You know what the context of this statement was? What are we talking about?
The red is it like the red ribbon
Sure.
award?
It's some kind of magazine. So we got a magazine with a weird name that you submit your manga to, and if you win, you get prize money and you get published in the manga. It's a thing that happens in Japan. And then there's different ones with different names. So we're talking about what the uncle did. Uncle's master plan was to figure out what kind of manga is really popular at the specific magazine. What do the editors here, the judges here really like, and what they tend to place in their magazine, and who tends to win prizes here. And from that, he has made a conclusion that the manga that these people evaluate, like what he managed to get out of reading all the manga, he figured out that they like political comedy, making fun of Kuropongli, specifically as like gag manga. Even gag manga will win in this magazine as long as it's a political comedy. So because he judged that, he decides, okay, that's what I'm going to make and focus completely on that, making a political comedy thing. So I went over and Googled this one because it was really bothering me. The Gohon here is counting stories, but not like volumes of books. So it says during the week, this guy right here made Atashi no Jo. he was writing 5 different So basically, he did 5 chapters a week, but each of those chapters are for a different story. So like one chapter might have been for Atashi no Jo, a different chapter might have been Pokemon. I don't know. So that's what he was doing. 5 chapters, but each chapter is for a different manga. Wait, yeah. Ah, whoa. It popped out. I guess we'll stop there then.
Okay.
It just deleted itself. It said good night.
Oh,
I'll be seeing you
all right.
next week then. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.